Send the length for the SAS variable.
How much length we can give for a character variable?
8 bytes equal to 8 characters.
No, that is a default when you write input statement. Minimum how much you can give, or maximum how much we can give?
Minimum 1, maximum 32,767.
32,767 bytes. And then, so what about the numerical variable?
8 bytes.
8 bytes.
8 bytes is equal to how many digits?
12
digits.
12
digits.
What is the minimum length that we can give?
3.
Maximum length that we can give?
3 to 8 bytes.
12 digits.
8.
So if you have more than 12 digits, what will happen?
It converts into
electronic format.
Then how to read if you have more than 8, more than 12 digits?
In the character, we should use character.
Can we read as a numerical data?
No, we can't.
Very good. If you have more than 12 digits in Windows operating system, it will be get into electronic format. We cannot read the data as a numerical data. So the data will come as an electronic format. Only way we can read is we can read as a character data. Otherwise, we will not get the data.
Hello, is Sir speaking?
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry for the delay. Now, so if you want to apply the length, what is the statement we should write? Length statement, right? Where we should write the length statement in the program?
After data set name.
Before the set
Input.
statement, isn't it? Before the set statement. If you are writing with along with the input statement, you should write the before the
Input statement.
before the input statement. Now, and after the length, the next thing that we are going to discuss in today's class is what is the next attribute that we have. So far, we discussed the variable name, data type, and we discussed the length. So then we will discuss about label. Very good. Now, I want to create a data set. I'm taking few lines of in-stream data. Okay. Now, this is my data. I'm creating a data set now. Data set name ds1, input. I want to have ID, name, character variable $symbol, sex, character variable $symbol, age, and then salary. Then I'm writing the data lines. So how much length I require for the name variable? 6. How much length required for the sex variable? 1. So now we can do two things. Now I want to apply the length. Now I'm writing the length statement. Name variable, $symbol, 6 dot. Okay, and the sex variable, character variable, $symbol, 1 dot. Now, if I execute the program, we are going to have length for name variable 6, length for sex variable 1. Okay, now select the program and execute it, and this is how we are getting it. But since length statement is going in the first position, what is the order of the variables you will get now? You will get the first name variable, then the sex variable, then you will get the remaining variables like ID, is, and salary. But if you want to have variables in a proper order, I told you in the last class, what is the statement you should write?
Return statement.
Return statement. Return ID, name. I want to have a sex variable, then I want to have age variable, and I want to have a salary. Now return statement will retain the variable order. So now we got the variable order like this. That is okay. You know, when I'm creating this data set, Spons is asking, he wants to have, a label for the sex variable. He wants to have it as a student gender. Sorry, he wants to have it as an employee gender. But I told you, when writing a variable name, what are the rules we should follow? A name should be less than or equal to 32 characters. You can start with alphabet or underscore. You can have a number, but should not start with a number. No special characters except underscore. So these are the rules to follow. But still, even though these are the rules, if you are coming into the clinical domain in future, according to the FDA guidelines, I told you, a variable name should be less than or equal to 8 characters. If the length of the variable name is less than or equal to 8, it will not convey any information. So what we are going to know, we are going to apply a label for the variable. How to apply the label? If you want to apply the label, now we are going to write a label statement. What is the purpose of label statement? Label statement is useful to assign alias name or descriptor name or temporary name for a SAS variable. How much length you can give for a label? A label can be less than or equal to 256 characters. We can have a special characters. Okay, we can start with a number and we can start with a special character. So much of relaxation. So that's why we can write a very elaborative and very descriptive name. Now, how to write the label? So if you want to apply the label, now we should write a label statement. Label. For which variable you want to assign the label? Sex variable name is equal to within the single or double quotations. Now, whatever the label you want, you can write. I want to have a label for sex as a employee gender. Now I am writing employee gender. And finally, keeping a semicolon. Now select this program, execute the program. We are going to have a DS1 data set. But unfortunately, when I open the data set, I cannot see the label. See what I'm going to do? I'm going to double click on the sex variable. Now, can you see for the sex variable, the name is sex, but can you see what is the label that we have now? Employee gender. But when I open the data set, I couldn't able to see the label, even though I have a label for the sex variable. When you open the data set, if you have a label, if you want to see the label, what we should do? Open the data set. Can you see on the left side top in the menu bar, we have a view option. Go to the view option. Now click on, column labels. Check the column labels. Right now, we have check mark for the column name. That's why it will show you the column names. But if you check the column labels, if you have a label, it will present that it will display the label. If you do not have a label, then it will display variable name. Now, can you see this is the variable label, employee gender. So we can have an embedded space. We can have up to 256 characters. We can have a special characters. We can start with a special character or number. So we have so much of relaxation. We can write a very elaborative, very descriptive name. And this is called label. But remember, during the data statement, I discussed about the label option. Where we write that label option?
In the data.
Data statement.
Data set name, open the parenthesis, label is
Label
equal
is equal
to, say for
to, in
example,
quotation,
now I'm writing, this label applies for what?
Data set.
entire data set.
Very good.
Data set, sir.
This
Data
label applies for data set, but this label statement applies for,
Variable.
variable.
so this is label option, this is label statement. Understand this one? Is this clear? Now, where we should write the label statement? You can write the label statement before the input or after the input also. If you write the label statement before, say for example, for the time being, I do not want to apply the labels. So I do not want to apply the length. I want to apply only label. So now I am writing the label statement after the input, not a problem. The label will be get applied. So you'll get the label. And you can also write the same label statement before the input also. But if you write the before the input, what will happen now? Which statement is going in the first position out of these two? Label.
Label statement.
So you will get the sex variable first, and then you'll get the remaining variables later. Okay, you'll get the sex first, then ID, name, age, and salary. Understand this one? So, but you can write anywhere. You can write the before the input or after the input also here. But if you write after the input, since the input is going in the first position, it will decide the order of the variables. Understand this one?
So can you please explain it once again?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I'll do one thing. I want to create a data set from some text file data. On my desktop, I have a SAS folder. In that, I have a SAS data folder. In that, I have a text file called demo1. Okay. And I want to create a data set for this from this text file data. So shift, right click, copy as path, go to the program. Now I want to create a data set. I'm writing data. I want to have a data set name emp, then in file, the path of the text file, then input. Emp ID, name, $symbol, age, sex, $symbol, sex, $symbol, salary, and location, $symbol, semicolon, run. I told you last two classes, whenever writing a variable name, what is the length of the variable name you can write? Variable name length, less than or equal to?
8.
Variable name length, data kadandi. Variable name,
Characters.
you can add up to 32 characters.
32 characters.
But in the real time, we never write 32 characters. So we always set as short as possible. If it's a clinical domain, the rule is only should not exceed 8 characters, 8 letters. So we always write the variable names as short as possible. If the variable name is such a short one, it will not disclose any information. It will not tell what information that we have in that variable. So now the sponsor will ask you, write the label for the variable. Because we can write a label up to 256 characters. We can have embedded space. We can have special character. We can start with a number. We have so much of relaxation. Say, for example, he wants to have a label for salary as, monthly salary income in rupees. Monthly income in rupees. That is the label he wants to have. Now, how to apply the label for a salary variable? How to apply the label? If you want to apply the label, you should write label statement. For which variable I want to apply the label? Salary variable, you should write a sal is equal to, variable name is equal to, within a single or double quotations, what is the label you want to have? I want to have, say for example, employee monthly income in rupees. And finally, semicolon. Okay, this is how we can write it. What is the length of the label we can write maximum? 256. And we can have embedded spaces. Can we have embedded space in a variable name? No.
No.
But in a label we can have. Now see, if I select the program, execute the program, we are going to have EMP data set. Now can you see? We have a label for salary variable. And remember, label is temporary, but a variable name is permanent. అందుకే నీకు label definition చెప్పేటప్పుడు label gives alias, descriptive or a temporary name for a variable. But by reading the label, it is easy to understand what kind of data that we have in that label, in that variable. But where we should the label statement? If you want, you can also add the same label statement before the input also. But if you add the before the input, which statement is going out of label and input?
Label.
So in the label, what variable that we have?
Salary.
So this variable will come first in the EMP data set, and you will get the remaining variables. Okay, now I'm selecting the program, executing the program. Now can you see I'm getting the salary first? After that, I'm getting the remaining variables. So you can write a label statement before the input or after the input. Okay, but if you add the before the input, the label statement will decide the order of the variables. But if you add after the input, now the input statement will decide the order of the variables. Understand this one?
సార్ ఇన్ స్ట్రీమ్ డేటాలో లేబుల్ రాసినప్పుడు వేరియబుల్ నేమ్ వచ్చింది కదా సార్, ఇప్పుడు డైరెక్ట్ గా లేబుల్
మీకు ఏదైనా వస్తుందండి, కాకపోతే వాట్ ఈస్ ద సెట్టింగ్ దట్ యూ హ్యావ్. సే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ప్రీవియస్లీ when I open the data set, I have this setting, column names. It's up to you. You can opt for anything.
ఓకే సార్.
So now the first priority is for variable names. If you want to have first priority for labels, what I should do, open the data set, go to the view option, click on column name. If you have a label will be get displayed. Otherwise, you will get the variable names.
ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Now I want to apply labels for all the variables of the data set, not for one variable. I want to apply a label for all the variables, all for 6 variables. If you want to apply the label for all the 6 variables, now we should write label. What is the first variable that we have in the data set?
EMP
Very good. EMP ID
Employee
is
ID.
equal to, within the quotations, I want to have employee ID, or I want to have employee ID number. Whatever you want to have, you can write it, because we have luxury of having up to 256 characters. Now, within the same statement, I'm not keeping a semicolon, but I'm writing in the next line. The next value is the name is equal to, I want to have, employee name. Third variable, age is equal to, now within the singular double quotations, so I want to have employee, age in years. So that is what I want to have according to sponsor requirement. Then sex is equal to, I want to have it as an employee gender. I'm writing employee gender. Then I want to have a sal is equal to, within the quotations, I want to have employee monthly income in rupees. And finally, LOC is equal to, I want to have, employee work location. And finally, we should keep a semicolon. So that means we should have one label statement for all the variables. And finally, we should keep a semicolon. Now select the program, execute the program. We are going to have EMP data set. Now can you see, since we have labels for all the 6 variables, now it is displaying the label. Understand this one, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Now, in future, if you are coming to the clinical domain, you have to write a label for all the variables. That is the rule. But you no need to worry. They will tell you what are the labels they want to have, and according to that, we will write that. Now see, I will show you a specific real-time specification sheet. They always give you specification as an Excel sheet. Okay. Now this is the specification sheet. Now can you see what information that we have? First, they want to have what is the variable name they want to have. They will tell you the variable name. What is the first variable they want to have? Can you see this one? Study ID.
Study
The second variable they want to have domain.
domain.
Then what is the variable visit number or visit day? So they will tell you what is the variable name. I told you in clinical domain, the variable name should be less than or equal to 8 characters only. Can you see? No variable name is exceeding more than 8 characters. And after that, they will tell you what is the label they want to have. So when we have a variable name study ID, they want to have a label study identifier. And they only will tell you what data type they want to have, either it's in a character variable or a numerical variable. And then they will tell you what is the length they want to have. Can you see study ID, how much length they want to have?
10.
10. And a domain, how much length they want to have? Character variable, $2. So that means it's a character variable, they want to have length 2. And visit name, they want to have 10. So you should not add a dollar symbol. It is a numerical variable. So they want to have, but you cannot have a length of 10. So you can have length only 8 because it's a numerical variable. And then visit, they want to have character variable length 20. Visit day, character variable, they want to have length 20. So for each and every variable, they specify how much length they want to have. So they only will tell you what is the variable name they want to have, variable label, data type, length. So far, you know about only these 4 columns, and we'll discuss about the remaining things during the project classes. This is how they're going to give the specification. Understand this one? Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then after that, now I want to create a data set called class 1 from SAS-help.class. Now data class 1 semicolon set SAS-help.class. Now, now in the class 1, we are going to have 5 variables: name, sex, age, height, and weight. For name, I want to have a student name. For sex, I want to have a student gender, student age, student height in centimeters, student weight in lbs, pounds. So that means I want to apply the label. Now tell me how to apply the label. What is the statement you should write? Label statement.
Label.
Where we should write the label statement? When you're writing with the set, you can write either before the set or after the set also. You can write either before or after. You can write anywhere. But length అయితే కనుక కంపల్సరీ ఎక్కడ రాయాలండి? If you're writing a length, you should always write the
Before set.
Yes. Now I'm writing a label. For which variable I want to apply label? First, I want to apply for the label for the name variable. Name is equal to, now within the quotations, I am writing student name. In the same statement, but I'm writing for easiness, I'm writing in the next line. The second variable 6, I want to have it as a gender. Third variable is age variable. I want to have it as a, say for example, student age in years. Whatever the label they had asked me, I'll write that one. The fourth variable that we have, height is equal to, now I'm writing, student height in centimeters. And last variable, weight is equal to, I want to have it as a student weight in lbs. And finally, keep a semicolon. Now select the program, execute the program. We have a class 1. Can you see? We have labels for all the 5 variables. But I want to have in years within the parenthesis. I'm writing in years within the parenthesis. I'm writing in centimeters within the parenthesis. I'm writing in centimeters. In lbs, I'm writing within the parenthesis. I'm writing within the parenthesis. Sorry.
So we can't write that thing in multiple statements. Means name,
No.
student name, semicolon.
No, if you cannot write. We should write everything in one statement. Closing the
we have to
program.
write quotations.
Which one?
Label.
Everything you should write only within the quotations because we have multiple words. No. Or can you see? We are getting even the parenthesis special character also. Understand this one? Now I have given label for all the 5 variables. So suddenly I want to cancel the label for age variable. If you want to cancel the what you will do? You will delete this one, right? But if I delete this one, in future if I require again, I don't know what was the label we had previously. Now I do not want to delete that one. So one thing is you can keep in the comment section. Even I do not want to comment also. If you do not want to comment it, you know what I'm going to do? Now I'm writing again one more label statement. For which variable I want to cancel the label? Age. Now label age is equal to semicolon. This is called empty label statement. Now what will happen now? It will cancel the label for age variable. Now see, select the program, execute it. So label for age variable will be cancelled. Since label has been cancelled, what it is printing now? It is printing the variable name. For remaining 4 variables, it is printing the labels, but we do not have a label for age variable. Understand this one? Now, what I'm writing? No, I'm writing age is equal to empty quotations. If I had empty quotations, see what is going to happen? It will print blank space. Can you see here? So if you want to cancel the label, now we should variable name is equal to semicolon. But if you want to print the blank space, you should write a variable name is equal to empty quotations. Then it will print blank space. Clear, everybody? This is how we apply the label. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Anybody, any doubts?
Sir, if we give double quote or empty space means it is going to cancel the entire variable, sir.
No. Variable is going to be in the back end. I told you variable name is permanent. We are going to have the label. Now it will print the label because we have what is the option that we have here? We have a column label. Since I'm giving a blank space, it will print blank space because I have given empty quotations. You cannot delete the variable name. Variable name is always permanent. Label is temporary.
Instantly, it doesn't show the label or variable name there.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, like length statement, label statement ఒకవేళ ఇన్పుట్ పైన రాసింటే రిటర్న్ స్టేట్మెంట్ వాడితే మళ్ళీ ఆర్డర్ వస్తుంది కదా సార్?
Yes, whatever the order, if you write the return statement, you will get whatever the order you want. You can get it.
So I can use that return statement for label also if I write above
Yes.
the statement.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, since we have completed with
This
the length,
label statement is overwriting the old one, right?
yes.
Okay.
Now, the next important attribute that we are going to discuss in today's class is Informat. What is Informat? I will tell you. Say, for example, I have a data value 101, name ABC, age 23, gender female, and salary 5,000. 102, DF 29, male 7,000. And 103, KLM 26, female 8,000. I want to create data set. Now I'm writing data set named DS1, input. I want to have ID, name, age, sex, and salary. Then I'm writing the data lines. Can somebody tell me if I execute this program, into which variables I will get the data and in which variables I will not get the data?
Salary
will not get.
Salary will not
Salary,
get.
name, and sex also not.
6.
Why I will not get the salary data in salary? Why I
There
won't
is
get the
There
data?
is
special
comma,
character, comma.
1000.
Special
Comma.
Now, if I execute the program, I will get the data only in ID and age. I will not get the data in the name, sex, and salary.
The
In why?
dollar symbol missing.
Dollar symbol.
Dollar symbol missing.
Because by default, I told you SAS can understand only numerical data. Only numerical data. You know, not only it remembers only numerical data, that numerical data should be in standard format. Then only it can understand the data. What do you mean by standard format? If we have a data like this one, SAS can understand it is a standard numerical value. If we have a data like this one, SAS can understand it is a standard numerical value. But if you have anything other than this one, SAS cannot handle it. But I know this is also numerical data. I know this is also numerical data. I know this is also numerical data. And I know this is also numerical data, but SAS cannot understand this as a numerical data. It cannot understand. So if you couldn't be able to understand this only, then how can it understand ABC or a female? It cannot understand. That means according to SAS, all this data is non-standard data. What should I do? I need to help the SAS to understand this non-standard data, to read this non-standard data into SAS successfully. So whatever the help I'm going to provide to SAS, and that help, we call it as an informat. Why I'm providing this informat? I want to successfully read this data into SAS. SAS should read this non-standard data also. To read this non-standard data, I am providing some help, and that help is called as an informat. So now how we can define informat? Informat is a special instruction that we use to read non-standard data into SAS as standard data. So informat is a special instruction that we use to read non-standard data into SAS as the standard data. Now we can classify or we can divide informats into 5 classes. The first one we call it as a character informats. And the second one we call it as a numerical informats. And third one we call it as a date time informats. And then we have column binary informats. Column binary informats. And finally, the last one that we have is user defined informats. So we can classify the informats into 5 classes. One is character informats, numerical informats, day-to-time informats, column binary informats, and the last one is user defined informats. Understand this one? Could you able to follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, the first informat that we have is a character informat. What do you mean by character informats? What is the purpose of this? Is useful to read character data into character variables. To read the character data, we are going to use this informat. Okay, and what are the examples that we have? We have an example, say for example, variable dollar symbol. The next example we have variable dollar width dot. And the third example that we have is variable dollar char width dot. So these 3 are examples for character informat. Okay, now this is my data. I want to create a data set. Okay, now I'm writing the program. Data set name DS1. Do we require infile statement? No, we do not require infile. Directly I'm writing the input statement. I'm writing ID, name, age, 6 salary data length. You know that if I execute the program, I will get the data into ID, age, and salary, but you will not get the data into name and sex, isn't it? Now, tell me, if you want to read the data into name and sex, what we should do? Name space dollar symbol, sex space dollar symbol. Now, this name dollar symbol is example for variable dollar symbol. So why we use variable dollar symbol or name dollar symbol here in this scenario? To read the character data, or to read the data as character data. And again, sex dollar symbol. Now see, if I select the program and execute the program, we are going to have DS1. And yes, we got the data into name and sex also. But what is the length of the name variable? I told you, when you write an input statement, by default, the length of the name variable is 8. What is the length of the sex variable? By default, when I use input statement, what is the length of the sex variable? 8. But why should I use so much of space? You know, how much required for the name variable maximum?
6.
Because we have the longest name, Amelia. We require 6.
6 stores.
Now I want to reduce to 6 so that I can save 2 bytes of memory. So what I'm going to know, I'm going to specify $6. But tell me, do we require every time 6?
No.
No. So since I specified 6, you know, what it will do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will go. It is okay. When we have a ln, what will happen now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even age value will also go for name. To avoid that one, what is the special modifier I should use?
Colon
symbol to stop the data reading at a space. Now, but what is the length of the variable now I'm writing now? $6. This 6 is nothing but the width what I'm taking. I'm telling generally $width dot, but in this scenario it is $6. Now, how much I should write for the sex variable? $1. Because every time we have uniformly one character, you no need to write a colon symbol. Simply what we can write? We can write a $1 dot. So now this is also example for $width dot. నేను ఇక్కడ width రాయలేదనుకోండి, by default what is the length of the variable? 8. Now if I execute the program, now the DS1 length is going to be only 6 and the sex length is going to be only 1. So, and this is example for $width dot. Understand this one, everybody? Now, say for example, if this is my data, tell me how I should write the program. We have embedded spaces and the data is in non-aligned manner. But luckily, between the name and the team value, we have 2 consecutive spaces. We can use %. Now data, I'm writing very good, weight club. Then I'm going to specify input statement. I want to have ID number, name, team. Then I want to have a start weight. Then I want to have an end weight. And finally, I am writing the data length. So since we have an embedded space and data non-aligned manner, name value and team value are separating with the 2 consecutive spaces. So what I can do? $. But if I add the $, what is the default length? It can be only 8. But I want to read, you know, Ashley McNate also. If you say Ashley McNate, I think it requires around 16 or something or 15. I'm writing a $15. Now this is a $15 is example for $width dot. But in the team, how much I require for the team?
6.
6. Now I'm writing $6 dot. But every time do you require 6? No. When we have a male, when we have a red, we require only 3. So I'm going to specify colon symbol. Now what is the length of the team variable now? The length of the team variable is only 6. Understand this one?
Yes, sir.
So now this is example for $width dot. Now I'm creating a data set now I'm taking some data. 101, name is, say, for example, Ramakrishna, age is 23. 102, name is, say, for example, Krishna, age is 21. 103, I have name, say, for example, Ish, and it is 20. I have 104, name is X, 18. Now I want to create a data set. I'm writing data set name demo, input, ID, name, age. Since name contains data, character data, what I should do? I should use dollar symbol, right? But if I use a dollar symbol, what is the default length of the name variable?
8.
8.
But if you want to read the Ramakrishna completely, how much length we require?
11.
11. So I'm going to specify the 11 dot. Now select the program, execute the program. We do not require, because here we have a spaces. It will start from here. It will lead up to this one. You'll get 11th is okay. No need to write the colon symbol. Now see, if I open the demo, I got the data. But since the name is a character variable, can you see in the second, third, and fourth observation, even though in the data I have some initial spaces. Here I have a 4 spaces. Here I have an 8 spaces. And here I have 10 spaces. After that I have a K. But still in the data set, how the data is aligned? Can you see that one?
Ignoring spaces.
The data is aligned onto the left side. It is adjusted to the left side because it's a character data, right?
Yes, sir.
But in the second, third, and fourth observation, I want to have those initial spaces as it is in the data set. Okay, I want to have those spaces as it is in my data set. If you want to have those spaces as it is, now you know what we should do? Between the dollar symbol and the 11th dot, I should write an informant called char. If you specify $char 11 dot, now see, if I select the program, execute the program, I will have a demo data set. Now, can you see in the second, third, and the fourth observation, we have spaces as it is. Now see, can you see my cursor is blinking in the second before the Krishna? Now see, I'm giving a right arrow. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, then we have Krishna. If you see in the third observation, if I start my value there, see, I'm giving a right arrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 spaces, then I have an Ish. So that means if you want to have those initial spaces as it is in the data set also, instead of writing a $11 dot, what should I write now? I should write a $char 11 dot. Now tell me what the difference between $11 dot and $char 11 dot. $11 dot will read the data, but it will align the data onto the left side. But what the $char width dot will do? If we have initial spaces, it will keep those spaces as it is in the data set. Understand this one? Is this clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is about character informat that we have. So what are the 3 character information that we have? Variable dollar dot, variable dollar width dot, variable $char width dot. W stands for width. You can write 1 or you can write 32,767 also. Depends on your requirement. So in generalize, to tell a general formula, I will tell you $width dot. Understand this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next information that we have is numerical information. What is this numerical information? Now we'll see one example so that later you only can write the definition. This is my data. I want to create data set, no complication. Data is very simple, very plain. I want to create data set. I'm writing data, DS1, input, ID, name, age, sex, salary. So you will get the dot in all the variables except name and sex. You know what you should do? You should write a dollar symbol. So dollar symbol now it is a character format. it will read the character data into name variable. In the same way, you should write a sex dollar symbol. Now it will read the character data. But by default, the length is going to be 8. If you do not want to have 8, you can write a $6. But every time it looks for 6, but since we do not have every time 6, you can write colon $6. How much I can write for the 6 now? 1 dot is enough. So not a problem at all. You are going to get the data. Everything looks fine. Now see, if I open the DS1, I have the data. This is okay. But now this is the problem I have. In the salary, I have 50, 000, 25, 000, 30, 000, 45, 000, 28, 000. Now, if I select my program execute, I will get the data in all the variables except salary variable. Because I want to read a salary as a numerical variable, so I'm not writing a dollar symbol. But here, unfortunately, we have a special character in the numerical data. SAS cannot understand. But I want to read as a numerical data. I know it is a numerical data, but SAS cannot understand it. Now, how to read this as a numerical data? Since the SAS cannot understand, I should help to read this data as a numerical data. And whatever the help I'm going to give to read numerical data, and that is called as a numerical informat. So numerical informat is a special instruction that we use to read the non-standard numerical data into SAS as a standard numerical data. Understand this one? It reads non-standard numerical data into SAS as standard numerical data. Understand this one? Now, what is the informat I should write? Remember, when we have a comma, literally, you should write COMMA, comma. Now, after writing the comma, can you please count the width, measure the how much width we have for salary? Now, see, I want to measure this one, 1, 2, 3. You should read the comma also, 4, 5, and 6. You know what you should write? You should write a comma, 6, and you should write a dot symbol. This is the informat we should use when we have a data like this one. Now, where we should write this one? You can write the informat directly in the input statement after the variable name. You should give at least one space. Now, what should I write now? COMMA, comma, and you should write 6 dot. మీరు డాట్ రాలేదనుకోండి, SAS thinks this is also variable. To tell this is not a variable, this is an informat, what we should write? We should write dot symbol. Now this comma 6 dot will read this non-standard numerical salary value into SAS as a standard. So now in the SAS, you know how this 50, 000 will be saved now? Without that comma, it will save standard 50,000. Now see, after writing the comma 6 dot, I'm selecting the program, executing the program. If I open the DS1, can you see how we have? What is the problem that I had given? Did I give? There is a, I think there is some alignment issue. To avoid that one, I'm writing a colon symbol. Colon symbol is not mandatory. Now, can you see? I'm getting data successful. Now, can you see how the SAS is remembering the data value? How it is storing the data value? 50, 000 is saving as 50,000 without comma. And 25, 000 is saving as a standard 25,000, because in the SAS, it should always store as a standard numerical data. Why I'm writing the colon symbol? Because when you take in-stream data, there is a chance of having alignment issues. To avoid that alignment issues, I'm writing a colon symbol. But that is not mandatory every time. Clear, everybody? Why I'm writing the comma 6 dot? Because we have a comma symbol. And how much maximum width that you require? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
So for example, now this is my data. This is my data. 5,000, 2,000, 3, 4, 6, 8,000, but why have a comma? If I execute this program, I will not get the data into salary because it is a non-standard because we have a comma special character. Now, what is the information you should write?
4 dot.
Comma.
Comma.
5 dot.
1,
5
2, 3, 4, 5. Where we should write this one?
After salary.
After salary.
In the input statement after salary. But otherwise, otherwise, what we can do? We can write after the input statement, we can write separate statement called informat. For which variable you want to apply this informat?
Salary.
Salary.
Write the variable name. What is the informat you want to apply?
Comma.
5 dot.
5 dot.
5 dot.
Now, informat we can write directly in the input statement of the variable name, or you can write a separate informat statement also. You can do anything. Now select the program, execute it. We have a DS1. Can you see? Yes, we got the data successfully without the comma.
So what is the length of that salary?
Numerical variable, no, by default the length is going to be 8 only.
Okay.
Can you see this
Okay.
length?
Yeah, okay.
Anybody has got any doubts? Nobody has got any doubts? Nobody, no doubts?
Sorry,
No.
before input information statement,
Write only comma.
Pardon?
if you write
Only comma.
We can have other special characters also, no? We'll see that one. Now, this is my data.
సార్ మనకి 5 numbers ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి కామా 5 అని పెడుతున్నారు. ఇఫ్ వీ హ్యావ్ లెస్ దాన్ 5 మీన్స్
ఇక్కడ 6 ఉంటే ఇంతకుముందు ఏం చేసాం ఇక్కడ 6 డాట్ పెట్టాం.
అదే
Whatever the length that we have, we can write that.
సేమ్ డేటాలోనే డిఫరెంట్ ఉంటాయి సార్.
Highest, you should write the longest one.
ఓకే
Ante every time I have 5 dot here, I have like this one, then what should I do now? Every time I require only 5, but here how much I require?
6.
You should write a comma 6. That is the longest one. You should write only comma 6 dot. Okay. Now this is my data. What is the specialty of this data?
Decimals.
I have decimals also. I have a comma symbol and decimals. Now what is the informat and where we should write the informat? You can write informat directly after the variable name in the input statement, or what we can do? We can write separate informat statement. For which variable I want to apply? Salary.
Salary.
Now what is the informat I should write? Comma. Now please count the width. When you're counting the width, you should count the decimals also. Now see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We should count the total width. Total width ఎంత ఉందో ఒకసారి చూడండి, మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చూడండి ఎంత ఉందో. You should count the decimals also and the dot symbol also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we should write a comma 8 dot. How many decimals we have? How many decimals we have every time?
1, 2.
2. Now we should write 8 dot 2.
Okay.
You should write comma 8 dot 2. First, you should count the total width and you should write the total width. Then the dot symbol. How many decimals we have? You should write that number. Now, if I execute the program, now can you see how this 50,000.34 is saving as an A without comma 5,000.34. 2 comma 000.56 is saving as in 2000.56 without comma. Understand this one? Now we'll see if we have a 5,000 like this one, what is the information you should write? Tell me. You should write comma.
Comma.
5 dot.
Comma.
5 dot.
5 dot.
Okay. Okay. Because you should count that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If I have a like this one, what should I write?
Comma 6 dot.
Comma 6 dot.
Comma 6 dot.
Comma 6 dot. If I have a like this one,
6.1. Comma 6.1.
Comma
7 dot.
7.
7.
Comma 7 dot.
2,
7
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Comma
Okay.
7
What
dot.
will be this? Now we should have comma 7 dot.
7 dot.
Now I have 5 comma 000 comma 123. Dot 123. Tell me what should I do?
Comma 9.3.
9.3. Now I have 234 comma and 234,000. Now what should I do?
Comma 7 dot.
Comma 7 dot.
7
dot. Okay. Now I have, say, for example, 25,3456.
Comma
11 dot
Comma 11 dot 4.
11 dot.
You got confused, you don't know what you should do. Okay. Then you can write a universal format. The universal format is comma 12 dot, because how many digits that you can take maximum into one numerical variable?
12 digits.
12.
So now also you can write comma 12 dot. Now what you can write now? We can write comma total width is 12. How many decimals? At least you do know how many decimals you have there?
1.
1. Then here what you can write now? Comma
12.3.
12.3. Here what you can write now? You can write
12
comma 12 dot. Here what you can write now? Comma 12 dot.
4. 12.4.
Understand this one? This is about comma informat. We'll discuss about the remaining numerical informats, and tomorrow is going to be very, very important. We'll discuss about date, time, informats from tomorrow onwards. Okay. Okay, guys. See you in tomorrow's class. If the length of the variable name is less than or equal to 8, it will not convey any information. Date, time, information. Read this non-standard data. I am providing some help, and that help is called as an informat. All this data is non-standard data. What should I do? I need to help the SAS to understand this non-standard data, to read this non-standard data into SAS specification. So, whatever the help I'm going to provide to SAS, and that help we call it as an informat. Why I'm providing this informat? I want to successfully read this data into SAS. SAS should read this non-standard data also. 3, 12. Now 3, 4, 5, 6.
11 dot
11. You got confused, you don't know what you should do. Okay. Then you can write a universal format. The universal format is comma 12 dot, because how many digits that you can take maximum into one numerical variable?
12.
So now also you can write comma 12 dot. Now what you can write now? we can write comma. What will be this column? How many decimals? At least you do know how many decimals you have there? One. Then here what you can write now? Comma. A dialog box like this one. What is the name of the library we want to have? Remember, we are giving yesterday Sarini, Vasu, stances. Today I have given 3. This new name is equal to that one. Okay, I want to have a library. So, for example, my list. Okay, this is the library one. What is my library name? My list. My list. Which is only 5 characters, less than 8. It is following all the task naming. And then, for which folder you want to assign this library? Remember, when you are writing a program, we are writing a list name. Remember, we have written a few minutes back, and then what we have written after the screening? Path of the folder. Now, this is equal to that one. We need to browse the path of the folder. Browse. Where we have our folder, remember? On the desktop. What is the name of the folder? Remember, we should open the folder. Open the folder and give a OK button. So whatever I want to give it for a new folder. Where we have this one, right? Tell me the probe library. Library. Your library. It's a permanent. Very simple. Go to before this was saying it is a permanent library. That's what this is called. But it's clear, everybody? This is how we create it. I have one more folder called Char. Tell me how to create library by programming method. But move the program. Simple. Now, I want to create a library. No, I go to project. Okay? I am reopening the session again. On my desk, present these are the records you get it. Everything in one program. Okay? In one program, here I'm writing one program for one data set, which is taking a lot of time. Just imagine, I want to have 100 data sets from raw library to work library. Can we do that? How many programs I should write in that scenario? 100. It's a time-taking process, no? Yes. In future, we are going to have a shortcut for that. In future, I will discuss that one later, but since this today is the time, next time, okay? In future, we are going to have a procedure called process copy. In is equal to from which library you want to copy? Out is equal into which library you want to copy? Now, if I set this program, you know what is going to happen? How many dashes we have in the raw library? All the dashes will be get copied into one. This is dashes you want to know? Yes. You know what is going to happen? Now, these 5 data sets will be get copied into one step. Understand, everybody? This is how we copy the data set from one library to another library. It's how to do it only by it is a temporal. New library. We have again. Very good. Data. So it wants upright libraries. But if I execute this program, what will happen now? In the log window, you will get an error saying that you do not have an XYZ library to save the data. Do we have XYZ library? No. So since I created by GUI method, I do not have a programming proof for that one. Because the name, I would have like this one. Did it? I thought if you do it, because it will say. Now the whole and it should in here. A dialog box like this. What is the name of the library you want to have? Remember?
ఎంత 1200 మళ్ళా అదే ఒకసారి చూస్తాం వాడి పోయి చూసుకుంటే ఇంతే ఉంటాయి వైట్ కాదు గ్రే కదా గ్రే పెట్టింది ఇది గ్రేనే దాంట్లో ఉండేది ఒక రకంగా దీంట్లో బయటకు వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఒక రకంగా కనపడతాయి ఇదినా సెంటిమెంట్ అలాంటి వాళ్ళు ఉంటారు నేనే తీయాలని మరి అంత చీప్ కాకుండా పర్లేదు బాగుంది పాలిస్తారు ఇంకా ఒక 300 400 అబ్బో ఇవ్వ కొట్టినాయి సైజు కూడా బాగుంది ఎక్సెల్ పెట్టి
Start help, assign, start help, start card. Start card, start art, start total, art right, art. Open name.
What is it?
Start help, out file, and paste it. Those logical variable, those automatic variable. When you say why it is not printing, this is a note I am getting. No list option on the data statement suppress output of variable system. It is suppressing printing of those variable information in the log report because I specified no list option. By default, we are going to have list option. That's why when we execute this program, since we have error, we get that information in the log report. Now, if you do not want to have that information, simply specify no list. You know what it is? I want to have suppress even the real time. Once the programming trying to detect how many underscore errors that we have and how many by writing the no list option, I can escape from that automatically. You will not get the data. You will not get the data in the name and text. Those automatically. It will suppress printing of those automatically. So I will get the data, but in the log window, I will get a lot of warnings. Hence, it is allowable.
So only electric matrame underscore
print అయినప్పుడే కానీ I do not want to change that. A data set from a text file. Every day, the demo one text file. I want to create a data set. Copy as part. Go to the program. Tell me how you want to create a data set from the input, I'm getting MPID, name, dollar symbol, age, sex, dollar symbol, salary, location, dollar symbol, semicolon, run. If I do this program, tell me what the data set I will get. If I put the program, I will get the data set. I do not require the data set now. I when you do not want to have a data set, then why should I write a program to create a data set? Unnecessary waste of time. Fine. Inside. So, but if I execute this program, data will be getting created, it will take some memory. When you do not require, why should I create it? Now, I do not want to create a data set. What I want to do, I want to save the code. But if you want to save the code, what you should do, you need to save the entire enter window. If you click on the control plus S, it is going to save along with other programs. It is going to extra budget. But I want to save only this program. If you want to save only that program, now what I'm going to do, data set name, /, we are going to add an option called PGM is equal to a program name. Whatever the name you want to, you can write. But it should follow fast naming rules. Now, if I execute this program, you know what will happen now? It will not save data set, but it will save the compiled program. Can you see what it is saying now? What is it? This is not a data set. This is just a code, a program. What we have in that? In that we have only these 4 lines. Understand this one? So instead of creating a data set, now we change the program. Maybe after 6 months or maybe after 1 year, I want to have the data set. If you want to have the data set, we need to execute the code. Now, how to execute that code? Now to execute the code, now I'm writing like this one. Data. Now, usually PGM is equal to what is the program name that we have? Demo. Demo. Write the demo. Semicolon. You know, I told you I want to execute this program after 6 months, maybe after 1 year. Can you remember that what are the programming statements we have after 6 months in this demo?
No.
Now, I want to see what are the programming statements we have in the demo. If you want to see that one, now between that, we are going to a statement called describe. Or if you get the describe statement, it will write what are all the statements that we have in this program. It will write those statements in the log window. Now in the log window, now we can see the code. Now I came to know about the code. Now I want to execute this code. So to get us, EMP data set. So how to execute the code? If you want to execute the code, data, I'm going to again PGM is equal to program name, which is demo, semicolon. This time I'm writing a statement called, execute. Semicolon. Now write the run statement. Now select this program executed. Now this time, if I execute this program, the program will be get executed. As a result, now we have the understand this one. Describe to write the code in the log window. It will bring the code in the log window like this one. This is the code. In the describe, this is what in the log window. See the programming code. You can see the programming statements. What we have in that. To execute the program, you should have the execute statement. The program will get executed, and you get the. But by the way, where is this program is getting saved? In which location is getting saved? Right? But if you want to save in our own library, data, you should write your library name. Program will get saved in the senior library. In future, if you want to execute that one data, region is equal to Srini.demo. And here also, if you want to describe that here also, what we should write now, Srini. Okay, Srini dot, here. This is how we can address other than the what you
So, but it is saved in temporary library only, no?
Oh, previous example I shared, but if you want to save it in Srini library, but of course, library is temporary. But it will save permanently in that folder, no? Because we created a library to a folder, right? So if it gets permanently saved, it's going to get saved in that folder.
Trying to beat back tonight as the unbeaten Melbourne Renegades make their way down the highway to their second home. We're here in Geelong, and in their way, it's the Brisbane Heat and two Chins. Their big bat, like Jimmy Lee's ready to call the action. Rod, we're in your hands. Here's the call, and the Roots is the result. Jimmy, here's the Brisbane Heat. Yeah, there's a strong top line. I was still trying to get my mind around Chris needing that lineup, but it's Brian and Munro up the top there. Big inclusion there, that average sure gets the opportunity up with these young builders, so congratulations. What about the Melbourne Renegades? Yeah, I'll just see. Look, I like the way that they've gone this top really so far this season. And then you've got our adventure, so happy that you finished that game. He says it's something that adds so much to him. The power of Andrew Russell, who was good at that stage. I can't see that over probably.